All right, so welcome to tonight's class. If you are joining this session late and on YouTube or on Canvas, this is the homework or in-class work for today. So please replicate and submit this week. That being said, I'm going to take questions if anyone's got them online or in the class. Maybe you're having trouble moving a window around. Maybe your wall dimension doesn't work. Maybe you're not aligned correctly.
Could
Let's
you
see
show
what we
that?
have, and I can demonstrate examples of how to fix things on the screen. So speak up if you need some help, and it'll come onto the video.
Could you show that interior wall
And if
alignment?
not, that's cool too. We can have another few minutes of work time until everyone's done.
Can you hear me, Graham? Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't
Hey,
think
Graham,
yeah, I don't think he can hear me though.
you gotta wave your hand or do the reaction thing.
Yeah, Rudy,
We can't hear you.
you can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Why can't
Well, we can hear
anyone
you, but we
me?
can't.
Hold up.
You can't hear us.
Okay, hold up.
Can't hear us.
I'm not muted. Microphone.
Can't hear you.
How about now?
Can you hear us?
Anything? Yes, no? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down.
Can you hear us?
You can hear me, Jared? Okay. Rudy, can you hear me? Okay.
We can hear you,
All right,
but
I don't know
can
what
you
was
hear
going
us?
on there. Maybe when I started
Can
the
you hear
video,
us?
it changed my mic input. I can't hear you guys. So are you guys talking? Hold up.
Yes.
Oh, how about now? Hold up. Shit. Let's do. Why is this muted?
Volume up.
Fuck is this muted? My default will be. I don't want that. All right. Hey, now can you hear me, or can I hear you?
I can hear you.
Woo!
Can you hear us?
I got audio on your end. Okay, so something happened when I started the video recording, and it canceled all my audio. So thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. So I was asking if you could please show the interior wall alignment again, that 1 inch.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go ahead, and I'm gonna delete this wall real quick. Just because I want to post this, I'm gonna take a screenshot. I will post this if anyone needs it. I can post this on Canvas. In fact, I'm gonna do that real quick.
I lowered my hand down, by the way.
Okay. Let me pop this up. Snip this. And save it. And we're gonna put it right here, week 6. And I will call this in class 2024-02-12. Okay. I'll post this to Canvas just for anyone that needs it real quick. I'm going to post it to Canvas so that way I can take this screen and you won't be missing anything. So I'm going to post it to the modules real quick for this week. I want to just do a file. Okay, so that's been added to Canvas and it should say in class work 2024-02-12 PNG. So if you open that up, you should have a snippet of the assignment. Okay, please include, since I gave you that snippet, please include the ribbon and or your project browser in your snip. So I know that it's not from here. Does that make sense? Okay. Don't just take a snip of this and turn it in. Yeah, I know it, Rudy. Yeah, thanks. So make sure it shows your name or it shows, something that has a project browser because I didn't put that in here. All right.
My screen is way different than yours. So that would
Yeah, you're black. Yeah,
Yeah, I
'cause
don't
yours
know
is
how it's black. I don't know why it's like that.
Do you want to change it?
I would love to change. I hate seeing
Okay,
black.
please. I thought you were being like
No.
Mr. Nonconformist and
No,
okay, come here. I'll
there
show
is a
you
way,
right,
huh?
right here. So
Okay.
so follow my screen. If you go to file, you go to
File,
options,
options.
and then third one
Where's your-
down is
where's- oh, there it
graphics.
Graphics.
So you should have
Graphics.
general user interface graphics.
Yep.
And then it should say colors, background, change that to white.
Okay.
So if you click on it, just click like the bottom right white square.
Mine just gives me transparent.
For background,
Yeah. I just have
No.
a transparent.
share
That's
your
it.
share your screen,
Okay.
and then we'll get back to this alignment. Sorry, I just want to. I've been annoyed that Rudy's thing.
Yeah,
looks
I don't
this
like
the whole
it.
time. So
I don't like it because I don't
Here,
get
go-
I don't get to see
go-
everything that you do.
right.
I don't
it-
get-
it- okay, go ahead and share your screen. We'll see if we can get yours to look right. Because yours is the only one that by default has gone this direction. Okay, so but no, stop. You're seeing the properties of that wall.
Oh,
So hit escape, get out of that wall, hit escape again. For some reason, you've got that wall selected.
man. All right. I just put something for right now.
So now go to file.
Come on, thing. Yeah, I don't like it black. It
I don't
drives me
like
crazy.
I don't like
And-
yours being black either. It's been annoying, but I thought you were being like Mr. Nonconformist. And all right, so now go to options down there. And now go to graphics. What the hell? Oh, go to colors. Go to colors. It might be in colors. You're in 2024. There you go. Canvas scheme, light. Background
Thank
white.
you.
There you go.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Yeah, I didn't
now
like that black.
okay, but now let's go back to let's do it again. Let's get your ribbon all set up right too. It
Okay,
looks like
so-
2024 has some different options in here. So let me
Back
look at this
options?
again. Yep, options. Go to colors again. And then go to UI. Change that instead of use system setting. Change that top one. Light. Okay. Ta-da!
Man. Whew. All right, cool.
All
It
right,
makes it much easier that way.
thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
Okay, real quick for anybody that their screen looks like this. Zoom in just like nice and tight to one of those walls. So see how bold that wall is, right? Right now it's inheriting a line thickness, right? You can see a line weight on that, right? If you look at the window, see how the window is very thin compared to that wall, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it's very hard to work like this. I would say it's always extremely hard to work like this. Go up to the top and there's a button 2 over to the right from your doghouse. So go to find the doghouse, and then 2 to the right is that's to the left. 2 to the right, there you go. That's a thin line button. So that's thick line, thin line. Go ahead and click that.
Okay.
Now everything does not have a line weight.
Not bold. Okay.
Okay. So if that annoys you, that's a button that you can use, the thick line, thin line. I always work in thin line. Okay. So that's probably one of the reasons why mine may look a little different, but it's a lot easier to work when it's not just bold crap.
Yes.
all over the
Yeah.
place.
All right. Appreciate it. That helps me out so
Absolutely.
much. I even tried to Google it, but I was like, you know what? I'm done looking over this.
No
I'll find it
worries. Yeah.
eventually.
If anybody does have an issue now, Rudy, real quick, can I leave
I
yours
do?
up as an example?
Yeah. What I do wrong?
So Okay, well, who can tell me what Rudy did wrong here? No fault of Rudy's. This is great.
Windows not done yet. I know that.
What was the one thing that we were looking for with our dimensions?
Measuring
Where
from the
are we
center.
measuring?
Measure
Outside.
from the outside. I haven't fixed that
Right.
yet. Tab
Gotcha.
everything yet.
So that's the one thing that you'll want to do is, so let's just go ahead and real quick, let's do one of them let's click on that 8-foot one.
Is it one?
Yeah, so let's click that actual dimension.
This one right here or this one?
That one right there you go. Click that one. Yep. And so there's
Okay.
a couple ways to do it. You can do it just right here by clicking that edit witness line. So you did all of them to the center right now, which is great to start with. If you click that edit witness line,
Okay.
and then go ahead and click the center line of that wall, it'll delete that dimension, and then hit zoom in and hover right over the left edge and hit tab. Now click. Oh, left edge, hit tab. There you go. Now click. So now go to your left-hand side of that and go click the other wall that's down. Remember, this is your left dimension, so not that wall.
Oh, wait.
Keep going to your left. Keep going to your left. Keep going to your left. You got another wall.
Which one? Oh, you're talking about?
Nope, your left. There you go. Okay, so
where
now
did-
let's click the center of that wall.
Oh, I click. Okay, I know what your wall.
Click the center of that wall to remove it, and then the outside edge of that wall to reset it. There you go. Perfect. Now click into any white space. You clicked on top of that again, so it removed it. Hit
Yep.
tab.
Come on, get in
When it's also easier to see when things are. Click. All right.
No.
Now zoom out. You got it. You got it. You got it. Zoom out.
there. Oh, did I?
You got it. Yeah, but now you've got
Oh,
the
I got
center
like
of the wall.
50
So
more.
click the center of the wall again. Now just move your mouse into any white space and click. There you go. Perfect. Okay.
Yep.
So if you need to adjust your dimensions, okay, make sure that you can do it by either doing that, or let's do the other one real quick. Let's do the 24'8" across the top. I want you to just go ahead and delete that dimension altogether. Go ahead and just click it and hit delete.
Delete.
Yep. So the other one was what we call editing the witness line. So it's taking the dimension that we had and editing it in place.
Okay.
The way that we're going to show you now is just putting a brand new dimension in, but a dimension that's right from the beginning.
Okay.
Okay. So go ahead and hit DI on your keyboard.
DI.
DI for dimension. Or click the align dimension button at that's fine too, right there. Perfect. Okay, so now zoom into that left. So the wall that's got the window, perfect. Zoom into there. And I want you to just go ahead and hit tab right now when you're on there. There you go. Now click. Perfect. Now go to the wall to your right, hit tab and click.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't click.
Oh.
So try it again. So tab, grab the outside,
No.
hit escape twice. Sometimes it's easier just to hit escape and start over. Hit tab,
Come on.
click.
That's it, right?
You need to click.
No.
We need hit tab,
There
click.
it is.
Once it comes up, you click. Nope, you got the center. There you click. And now drag that up, and now you can click anywhere you want. Perfect.
There it is.
And so now that dimension should be 24'8". So what I want to do is I want to take that right wall. Let's hit escape. Click on that right wall. And now, and I don't know why you have, so that's 24'8".
Still random.
I don't know why your other dimension isn't being activated. I think that was happening to you too, Stephen, right? So that 25'4" should be activating to
Up here.
right. Now, that being said, it still has temporary dimensions there. So go ahead and just type in 24 feet between those temporary dimensions.
Right here.
Uh-huh. Because you know your wall is 8 inches thick. So you could fake it, right? Now it
Okay.
says 24'8" at the top.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Okay. So you can use the temporary reference dimensions if they come up and you want to. Some for some reason that 24'8" isn't holding. I'm not quite sure. Maybe you don't have something trimmed together. It should just be fine. It should have, when you click that wall, it should have activated that dimension.
Yeah, but it puts it down here. It's weird.
Yeah, but can I take control?
Can you?
I don't think I can with Zoom. Let me see. I don't think I can. Focus mode. Stop video. Yeah, I don't think I can take control, which is dumb. Annotate. I can look at it. So let's click the wall, the top wall real quick. So see how that 12'8" activated on the right hand side?
Right
That's
here.
a temporary one. The one to the right of it is the one I'm looking at. There you go. So you should just be able to edit the witness line on that, on the dimension to grab the outside edge of that wall. And I don't know why it didn't allow you to, it allowed you to do it before, but for some reason it lost its connotation to the wall. So let's go ahead and hit edit witness line real quick. Let's go click on that dimension because right now you got the wall clicked on. So let's go click that 12'8" dimension. Hit escape. Click that 12'8" dimension. There you go. Now click that edit witness line. And if you deselect that, yep, perfect. Click there and then hit tab to grab the one above it, I believe. Yeah, I just gave you a dimension. So that one is 12'8" from backside of the wall. So then click the middle of that wall again.
Right, again, this one right here.
Now,
So
well, when you were in the command, okay, because you redimensioned it back to the middle, we need to grab the edge. So again, it might be easiest to just redimension everything to the edges.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll let you take care of it.
I'll fiddle with it.
So,
all
right, we're gonna go back to. I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna talk about aligning this wall in the center, and then we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll get back to our templates. All right, so let's take a look at this wall in the center here. And you want to see this screen. So share screen 2. All right. Can everyone see this screen? Let me know when you can.
Yeah, we can see it.
Cool. All right. So this door is at 10'2". I have this picture located just on my screen below. So if I need to reference something and put it back to normal, we can. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just go ahead and delete this wall to start. Okay. And I'm just going to draw this like it's a brand new wall. Earlier I said do the exterior perimeter. Okay. Some of you may have drawn a wall that looks like this and is utilizing that exterior wall type all the way across. Okay, if that had happened, you can do a couple things. We could split the wall. So there's a command up here called split element. So I could split this wall into a couple places. I could delete the center of that wall. And now I've got a couple nodes that I could drag that back and forth. Okay, and it's going to say that it can't keep these elements joined anymore because that wall doesn't touch it. And I could unjoin the elements. Okay. So that's one way to do that. If you had drawn that wall all the way through with the 8-inch wall, but let's say we just left it like this. Okay. You've got your 8-inch thick wall on your outside, but when we go to draw the interior wall and I choose a basic 6-inch, it wants to automatically snap center line. Okay. Now I could change that here, but I'm not going to just because this is kind of confusing. So what's easier than changing the face and the location line is literally just to draw center to center. Take what you have. Now, if I just go ahead and align this, it's connected on both sides. It's probably not going to like it too much. but we'll take a look. We'll see what happens. So if I use my align command, again up here, AL or align in my modified tab, and I use the tab button to select the inside of this wall to the inside of this interior wall. Well, you'll notice it did it, right? But it didn't on the right-hand side. And that's what I was saying is this wall is now joined in 2 locations, right? And by it being joined in 2 locations, it's going to align to the first one, but keep that second one stationary because there's nothing telling us that this is allowed to move along that wall. Okay, because it's connected right now. Could I select? What do you mean? No, because this is one wall. If it was 2 splits, yes, you could. But since we're dealing with one wall, so the one thing that Revit doesn't like to do is when things are joined, it doesn't like to behave the same way, right? It likes to move things together. It likes to keep elements joined. And we saw that again by aligning this one here. You see this wall move, but on the right-hand side, you'll notice right here, that little 1-inch corner is still going to stay there and that whole exterior wall dropped down an extra inch. So how do we take care of that? Okay, there's a couple different options, but the easiest is let's just disconnect our wall. Revit hates things being connected and moved. It doesn't care if you disconnect them, move them, and reconnect them together, okay? And this is true with lots of things, okay? With conduits, with ductwork, with walls, with line work, okay? If you are moving it and it's connected to something else, it doesn't necessarily like it. However, if we align it by itself individually, okay, I'm aligning to the bottom of that. Well, it has no relationship to the wall on the east side anymore, right? Because this wall isn't connected to this exterior wall. So when I move this, the only thing that it's being constrained by or told what to do is to align to that bottom line, right? So it's going to move that whole wall down and not affect anything with this outside wall because it's no longer connected. Now that that's in the right location, I can simply use my align command to align that back together. And once they touch, it wants to auto join, right? It made that join together. And if I hit tab right here, you can see that it tabbed through that connection. Okay. So that was just a line. So I didn't physically even need to bring this into the middle of that wall, right? I just needed to get it next to it. And it'll say, hey, this wall is touching this wall. We're going to join them together. The other way that I like to do this, I don't like grabbing it on this node. I think doing that, you can get a lot of errors just because it no longer sees this wall. Like if you grab right there and let it go, okay, you're fine because it saw that one snap point. But if that doesn't get seen, now that wall, maybe it'll grab, maybe it won't. Okay, and I don't like giving it a chance. So what I like to do anytime I see stuff like this, instead of just aligning it, I like to trim it together, which means, hey, this wall, I want to connect with that wall. This wall, I want to connect with this wall. So I'm going to trim this wall to there and this wall to there. Just like that, we now have our wall that goes across. And if I hit tab, you can see that all of that's connected, right? And if I move this one wall here, what happens now? What's going to happen if I move this wall? It's going to move all of it together, right? Because it is now connected, okay? If it wasn't connected, okay, and I move this wall down, what's going to happen? It's going to make the other wall shorter, right? Okay, but remember the relationship between these two walls is a T, and you're not making it a cross, right? So that T is always going to be there. As I move that down, the other wall is going to come with it. Okay. If I wanted that to extend past, I would need to drag that through the wall. Now, when I drag that wall, nothing is saying that that connection or is an intersection that's the edge of it. That makes sense. Lots of little alignment tricks there, but the biggest thing is align things to where you want them to go when they're disconnected and then join them back up later is a huge trick and time saver. And oh, maybe that's what I don't want to do. So this time, maybe I can't just trim that back without affecting the other wall. I'll take this, I'll bring it all the way back, and now I can trim it in, or maybe I can't. And maybe this is the time that you need to use your align tool to just align it up. Okay, so maybe you're not trimming one side out of it, you're just joining it. Okay, so lots of little movements that you can do, but that's what we're trying to accomplish with the align tool is to get that interior wall edge to align with the exterior wall inside edge. Yes.
For a topic, but when you have your dimension lines, it's looking at that 12 feet on the west side.
12'8" on the west side. Right here, okay?
You have that number, the blue dot on the number before that. Yeah, you got it.
So, good question. All right. So, this is pretty cool. Okay. What this does is it allows, if I have a bunch of, let's say I have a bunch of stacked dimensions. So, I'm just going to draw some lines in here. And if I grab a dimension between this, you'll notice that that looks like crap, right? Because I can't see anything. So anything, here's rule of thumb. If it fits between the two the left and the right hash, leave it. If it doesn't fit, like this 2'6" is extending, right? Just a little, the 3'3" is fine. 2'6", and if we click this, now we can grab that node, and that's why that node is there. So I can use that and stack dimensions and clean this up so that I can read what the dimensions are that are spaced between them. Okay. Yes, there is. Hold up. Hold up. I'm showing you why that's there before I show you how to remove it. Okay. Okay. So that's why it's there. If you accidentally do this right here and you're only dealing with one, there's two ways to do this. You can drag this back and you can get it to snap. Okay. It kind of has to be close and then it will want to auto snap to the and pull that away. The other way, right click and hit this reset dimension text position and it'll auto snap back to the center. Okay. So, but that's what that's for. That's why there's a node. So when you end up with multiple dimensions, we can do something like this to keep it clean.
Is there a way to make it like?
There is, and it's right here. So if I wanted to do that, dimension string leader type right now is arc. I can make it a line and now it'll do a line. Okay. So arc is typically what we utilize, especially this type of dimensioning. Going to an arc is a lot better. That being said, though, you can change it if you want to. But that's the whole purpose.
Out a little bit so I can see what size
node
windows these are.
is so you can bring that out if you need to. Okay. But yes, great question. And like things like this, let's say that this dimension was actually like that. We never want to leave that dimension. Okay. I don't know where that's going. I can make a reference. I can kind of assume anytime you've got a dimension that your text is bigger than your north and south or your east and west, take that, bring it outside here. Let us see it. Okay. We want to see all parts of that dimension. If you can't see it, even by itself, okay, that dimension is not worth anything. Okay. So the beautiful thing about Revit is when you move something and dimension something, it all moves with it. So if I assign it to 4 feet or 3 feet or whatever it is, maybe it's only a foot, but when it's that small, moving that annotation and just showing you, this is really what this is, especially when you get into detailed, like 1-inch precision dimension. Maybe you're detailing a 6-inch wall and you've got 2 layers of rock and you've got a layer of, a bad insulation. Then you've got a layer of a hard plastic board, then you've got whatever it might be, but your scale is still pretty large. You can then pull those out. So you've got this drawing that you don't have to have a super, super, super tiny dimensions, but you can see what each one's referencing. And you just put them right up, cascade them right on top of each other. And then if you delete anything that a dimension is referencing, so for example, this right here, I'm deleting all 5 lines out of the middle of this, but the edges are still there, right? The walls that those lines were dimensioned to, this 3, 3, and that 4, 8, right? Because that's going to this wall and this wall. That's still a spot that still exists. So if I delete these 5 lines, what's going to happen here? It'll give you the overall dimension exactly. So it's going to remove all the internals and still leave that external dimension because I didn't delete that wall. Now, if I deleted this wall in the process, all of them are going to go because it's got nothing to have an edge to dimension to. All right, questions, comments, concerns?
I have some issues on mine, if you have a minute.
Oh, I'm muted again. Hold up, let me try this. Okay, Carrie, go ahead.
I just have some issues on mine, if you have some time.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it in a second.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay. So let's go ahead real quick before let's save this. Okay. We're not going to utilize it again, but save it for your own personal stuff. If you're not done, please finish. Okay. We want to have what's turned in. Oh, yeah. Window. I screwed that up. Whatever. We want to have what's turned in matching what I've got online. So if it doesn't match this, take some time and make it work. Okay. And if you can't get it to match, email me, show me what you got, and I'll give you a suggestion on what you need to move to make it right. Okay. But we do want our submittal to, or what we're turning in today, to be a complete screenshot of this assignment. Again, with a ribbon or some type of a browser bar. So I know that you didn't just copy it from here. Don't type this. No, this was just so that way you knew what to model. Just give me a whole screenshot of your screen. That would be excellent. Whole screenshot of your screen with that on it. It'll show me your username and your Revit program. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that again. If we haven't finished, let's just save it and you can come back to it and complete it after I post the video or tomorrow or later tonight, whatever. But let's go ahead and take an 5-minute break, and we're gonna resume at 8. Let's call it 8:02. Give it a couple extra minutes. So 8:02 we'll resume, and we're gonna go back to working on our templates. So we will not be utilizing this project. We're gonna be opening up our templates again.
Yeah, just the few. Yeah, and I don't know why some of the about but it should automatically, like this dimension, when you put them, it should automatically pull that. So, and sometimes if it doesn't, delete the dimension. And something, maybe it got grabbed somewhere else, maybe it grabbed. Here's actually, this is more likely than not. Okay, sometimes when that happens, check this out. Okay, let me grab this left edge. Let's say I'm trying to.
Oh, yeah.
Now when I'm flipping that wall, maybe that works. But depending on when it lines up, it might not be that. Maybe that was only to the wing. So just depending on where that. So, I mean, it's supposed to be smart. Yeah. Oh. Is this wall? I'm looking to get close, right? That's a, and once you get comfortable with it, then it starts to get really easy to move things around. So, okay. Until you start getting comfortable with how to move things and know what you're gonna do. Yeah. Like, cause you can draw the diagram, no problem, like outside walls. But it's hard to draw it from the beginning, knowing I need that outside edge. You know, and that's how Revit works. It's like you can draw it, but until you actually spend the time to mention it, then it doesn't. One of the other ones living on my holding tab down. Don't hold tab. Just that's one step. And then if you tab is really special button because tab's pretty cool because you can if I hold tab and try to like a line, tab is like my secondary option button. It's like it's gonna help me grab anything else that might be around it. And also if I hit tab here, I also swap everything. So like so if I tab instead of grabbing them one at a time. So these everything right now are two separate, so next to them is compared. Yeah, so it's two separate. It is going right now. You just the way that it wants to select the selection set doesn't want to grab it in it wants to grab 2 minutes. So it's well, they're up there. They are completely joined. And you can see that by if they're not joined, this won't be open. You'll see a physical line, right? Oh, right. Like let's pull this back. Just like you can. So like you'll see something like that. And it might be all the way to the edge. Like you can see. Is that not even. We can go. We can do one. We can do 1,256. But the smallest line you can draw is 160. But dimensions and stuff, it'll go to 256, which is ridiculous. All right, so if you're online, let's start coming back. We'll give it another minute or so. We still got one straggler here. But what I want to do is I want to make sure you save your assignment that you did earlier, again, just so you have it in case you need to edit it or work on it if it's not completed.
So what, Graham?
Yeah.
When I go to align my mid wall that you were talking about, the 6-inch wall to the 8-inch wall.
Do you want to share your screen real quick?
Sure.
And then it'll capture on the video and we can see it one more time. It's a great
Yeah.
example. I think learning to align is the best thing that you can learn how to do in Revit. The biggest thing with alignments is once it's aligned in one position, it's connected. So you got to realize if this is connected and I'm moving it, what else is it going to be moving with it? Right.
Right.
Okay. So go ahead and share your screen and let's talk
I
about it.
think you have to stop sharing before I
Oh,
can share.
I'm sorry. There you go. I'm used to Teams that it just lets you just take
Yeah, yeah.
over. Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Okay. So I go to,
So hold up before you do that. So right now it's not aligned, right? So let's do this real quick. Hit escape. Let's go grab your dimension real quick because I just want to just show you this. So grab that, perfect. And go zoom in, grab the bottom of that wall. Hit tab to get the south edge. That's the west edge. Get the south edge of that wall. So zoom in. There you go. Go ahead and click. Okay, now I want you to go to your zoom in and go to the left. And I want you to get the bottom edge of the exterior wall. So hit tab. Perfect. Now click. Okay, and then go ahead and move your mouse off and set that dimension. Perfect. Okay. So right now, I just wanted to show you that because you can now physically see that those are not aligned with each other, right? You were trying to trim them together, and by trimming them together, it doesn't move anything. It keeps it where it's at and just joins two objects. Okay.
okay.
So there's a couple different ways that we can do this. And I like showing this method. Again, I like to show 3 different ways to do the same thing because a lot of people jive with one versus another. But let's go ahead real quick, hit escape. And I want you to hit escape again. We're going to exit the command and I want you to select that wall. So you'll notice what happened when you selected that wall. And that dimension we just built became active, right?
Right. So I could actually go in here and type 0.
You can. So let's go ahead and try that real quick. And type in 0 inches. Hit it, okay? And you can have a 0-inch measurement. Some people really like this, okay? And you could drag that over just like you're doing, and now you're in alignment, right? And it sees that those walls should be joined, so it auto-joined them for you, right? Okay, let's try that again real fast because I like this as a great example. Okay, so let's grab that again. And let's say this time we want that to be a foot below the other wall. What might we type in there?
1 foot.
So that would be raising it. Okay, so if you typed in 1 foot, let's try it. Put it in.
Would you
Perfect.
put negative 1 foot?
Ah, there you go. There you go. So
Because you
if
got to go
put
minus.
negative in there, it will move past the origin line 1 foot, 1 past the origin. Now it'll go 1 foot past the origin. Go ahead and click OK, and you can see. So there is no such thing as a negative dimension, but you can dimension and move it to the other side of the origin point with a negative value. So pretty cool. I like it. Sometimes if you're too far away and you're like, oh gosh, it's -2, boop, pops it right there, right? So, and then last but not least, Carrie, let's go ahead and go back to that -1 where you're at. Perfect. So let's click the dimension and let's go ahead and wipe it. Just delete it.
Whoop.
Just hit the delete key on your keyboard. Perfect. And now let's use our align tool. So instead of again, you were trying to use the trim tool earlier. So that's trim. Okay, that is aligned dimension, what you just hovered over. Align, so see the 4 arrows, the move symbol? That's the move. Align is right above it. It's that square and the rectangle. So let's use that one. And if you see a line, you see those 2 left-hand sides, you've got 1 solid line, and then you've got a blue square and a white rectangle. And what that's saying, it's saying, hey, let's make the left-hand side of these equal to each other, right? Let's line these two up. And you can see it kind of has a nice little demo video if you hover over it, okay? All of the commands do that. So let's go ahead and, again, when you're aligning, it's where you want to align, then what you want to align. So we're going to click. So let's click on the left wall there. And we're going to hit tab and to select the other face. So hit tab again. And maybe you need to move your mouse farther south. There you go. Now you can grab it. So go ahead and click. So that's where we want to align. Now what we want to align. Go ahead and hit tab to hit the bottom and then click. And now, so we click where, then what. Okay.
Magic.
And now you can use your trim or your align to move the edges of that wall east and west so they join with the wall next to it. Okay. So, and again, I'm a big fan of using trim because it's like it's a true joining mechanism, whereas a line is like just put them next to each other type deal. There you go. Perfect.
Okay, my other issue that I have is my wall height, I believe, is wrong. It's still.
Is it?
And I'm think, you know how it was offset from last week.
Yep.
So I think it's probably saved that way in my template.
Okay. So then when we go to edit our templates tonight, let's look at yours and make sure it gets corrected.
Okay. So, but should I just select
Go
the
ahead and-
walls?
You're fine for now. It's everything. You could tab select everything. Here, why don't we do this? Zoom out, scroll out, and then remember how back in our AutoCAD, we click top left to bottom right. Go top left to bottom right. It's because you're in course. It doesn't like to do it. You can hit tab. So hover over right there and hit tab. It'll select that outside. There you go. And then now hover that, hit tab again, then hold control and click. Hit tab. Now hold control and click. Now hold control and go click that center wall. Perfect. Now change that base offset from -10 to 0. And hit cancel real quick. Let's go change the wall height. It should all still be selected. So let's scroll down in your properties. So change that, go up, sorry. Let's change that up to level 2. So go up a little bit more. Up, sorry. Scroll up right there, yep. Keep going. Right there. Okay, it says top constraint up to level 1. Let's change that up to level 2.
Okay.
And then the base offset, now let's change that to 0. And it won't give us an error because it's taller than. Perfect.
Level
Now you're
1.
right. Let's go ahead and hit save. And then you can finish this up.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you. All
All right. So save that as whatever project for this week, and then come back and you can work on it later this week.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. So let's get everybody together. We'll probably go to 9 till 9 tonight, just because last week we kind of got our saving features taken away from us, so we couldn't work on the template. So everything that we're going to be doing for the next 45 minutes ish is going to be in our actual project template. Okay. It's not going to be in a new project from the template. We're actually going to be in the template. So I'm going to show you how to open that up right now. So let's go ahead and open up. First off, close everything that you have. Save your projects if you want them, whatever. Close all of our classwork that we have. We don't need anything open because we want to start this brand new. We don't want any other stale files out there. So I want to click Revit 2024, get to 2023 or 24, whatever you have. We're going to get to the splash screen.
Can you share your screen?
Yes, I can. Sorry. Good call.
Thank you.
All right, screen share. Here we go. How about that one? All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yep,
Okay. So again, what we're going to be doing right now is going to be working on our project template. Okay. So what that means, I want to go hit this back button, close the splash screen, go to File, Open, Project. Okay. So now when I click Open Project, now you'll notice one thing, when we were creating a new project, it always wanted to create a new RVT file, right? The Revit project. When we built the template, it created an RTE file. When we're opening, okay, so we're not creating a new from anything. When we're opening our template, so I'm going to browse to where I have it saved, which is here on my desktop, Edmunds 2024, and then here's my template right here. Okay. You'll notice that this file type will open a .rte or a .rvt. So we're actually opening the actual template that we worked on. Okay, go ahead and click open, and it should come up to here. And one thing it should say at the top is your name, whatever, winter 2024 template, not project 1. If it says project 1, we opened a new project from utilizing the template. Okay, this time we're actually opening the template. It might come to this screen. It might come to level 1. I don't care. I'm going to drag these sections out of the way for right now, just to give us some clean working area. And we're going to be working on this template. So is everyone at this screen on their level 1 in the template? Again, it should say your name, winter 2024 template or 2023 template or whatever. Okay. It should not say project 1. Again, I don't know how many every year that I know it's a lot. It's easy, but this gets screwed up and then people do it in the wrong spot and then we can't save it. Okay. Does everybody in their templates? I'm going to walk around real quick, just make sure.
You get your template all. We still need to color it, right? Well, starting from side.
Okay, real quick. Okay, and I'm gonna close this up right here. Because what I'm seeing is I've seen a couple people open the wrong version. Okay. So again, go to your Revit. Oh, not 21, 23. Come on. All right. So one thing what does Revit do every time you save?
Does it go back to the first template that you started?
Not
Your
necessarily, but it
The
creates
last template that you used?
it creates a backup file is what I'm getting
Correct.
at.
That's
Okay.
a guess.
So
I saved.
when you're opening your template, like if I go here to, let's just go to my desktop, Edmunds, winter, see this template .05, .06, there's all these .0001, 000. Never open those files as a starting point. Those files are backup files if we need to get something back because your Revit crashed. Okay. But when we are opening up our template, I'm going to go here to go to File, Open, Project. And again, all of those are still going to be available because they are a Revit template. They are a Revit project. So there's nothing that's saying don't use them except me. I'm saying let's go to browse wherever I need to go to my freaking desktop, Edmunds. And This time I want to make sure I don't open a .5 or a .06. Okay. Just make sure it's the original one. Does that make sense? If anyone's got a .00, it'll say at the very top. If it says .00 something, every time you try to save that, it's not going to save to your template. It's just going to override that file. Okay. So we want to actually affect the actual template, the master, not the backups. I'm going to go ahead and click open. And then, oh, for some reason, lovely. I was trying to open it in 2021. That's not going to work. Open project. Desktop. Admins, winter 24. And then here it is right here. Okay. My template. And I'm going to open it. All right. So now that this is open, does everybody, one more time, just check, make sure you don't have anything that says .0001. It says your own template and doesn't say anything else after that. Are we all together? I can help you color this later. We're not. Did you?
I honestly think somebody did it, and other people just do it because,
Well, then
no, yeah, I don't know. Because it just doesn't make sense.
you don't have one here.
He's gonna turn it over. And I'm gonna turn it over. Yeah. Somehow save this. This. All that. This file number, not page number. Trying to see if I thought we're just gonna save this. Okay, that is your template now. And actually, we're gonna do this. We're gonna save this as template. Where do you want to save it? Well, let's put it somewhere that's not in your documents. That's not in the documents, in your desktop. That, and put your name right at the beginning of that. Okay. Thank you for your patience. I just want to make sure we're all at the same page because we weren't quite there. All right. So again, let's go to this level 1. And I'm going to go ahead and just drag my sections out of the way for right now, just to give me some clean real estate. And what we're going to do tonight is we're going to draw some grid lines that we can utilize later. So I like grid lines. Grid lines are super useful. They allow you to dimension grid lines that are major intersections with walls. They allow you to keep your drawings a lot cleaner. And these are going to be able to be moved and utilized in our projects. So the way that I want to build our grid lines, I want to build 10 grid lines in each direction. However, it's very important that we follow these steps in the correct order. Okay. So if I go to the, let's go to, I believe it is under architecture, and we go to the very right-hand side,
there is this grid button, okay, or GR on our keyboard. So one thing about grids, once it has determined a name, maybe you called it grid line 1, it's automatically going to try to pick up the next one at grid line 2, grid line 3, right? Maybe you called it A, the next one is going to call B, C, D, etc. Okay? So that being said, the way that you draw your grid line is very important. And they all need to be drawn the same direction. Meaning, if I draw from top to bottom, every grid line needs to be drawn from top to bottom. I don't want to do this where I have grid line 1 here and then grid line 2, because you'll see what happens. Don't do this, but by default, look at where those grid bubbles are, right? They're out of order. When I turn on one side of the grid bubble, I want all one side to be the same side, right? Okay, I also don't like drawing something that I can copy, right? I want to draw it once and copy it. Okay, so I'm going to delete all of these, and we're all going to draw one grid line together. So let's come up to our architecture tab, go to grid at the very right, about 4 over from the very right-hand side. I'm going to click somewhere roughly up here and drag it down. Now you'll notice yours probably starts with a 1. Okay, I already drew 4 before this, right? So it wanted to start me with a 5. However, if I click into this bubble, I can change the name of this. So I'm going to call this, and I'm actually going to call this, let's just call it 1. We'll do 1. Well, that's fine. So we're going to do 1. And I want to turn on the grid bubble at the top and the bottom. So I'm going to click that button at the very top. So once I select that grid line, it'll have a checkbox that I can turn that grid line on, or the grid bubble on and off. So I'm going to leave the top and the bottom grid bubbles turned on. Okay. What I want to do now is take this and I want to copy it 9 times. So I don't care how far it is. Okay. But if I use the copy command on my keyboard, so CO, it's also up here in the modify tab. It's this little circle with the 2 other circles versus the 2 paper. This is a copy to clipboard. This is just copy the element with base point. So I'm going to copy this, and I want to have this multiple button checked. Okay, if this multiple button isn't checked, I will be able to copy one item, and then it's going to end the command. If the multiple button is checked, it will continue to copy from the last place that you pasted.
Where's that
So-
multiple? Where did that come from?
You might see it like up here. Look, you might see it in a little different spot on your ribbon.
Okay, I haven't seen it, but
No one sees it. Hold up. Let me see.
I can see it on mine. Do you have the actual line clicked?
Make sure you're selecting the line, not the bubble or the head.
yeah, I clicked the line. Let me see.
No, we need to, you always select the object first before your command. So you want to grab the line, then use CO to, and you're not going to see it unless you're in the copy command. So like if I click that line, I'm not going to see it until I go.
I
up
see
to-
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
After I typed in CO, it popped up and I seen the multiple.
Perfect. Okay, so we want that multiple check. And what we want to do is you want to just, now that this is set up, I want to just click like right on the line, move my mouse about 10 feet to the right. And I don't care if it's 12 feet, 10 feet, whatever. Okay, we'll dimension this later. Okay, but I just want to move it to the right and click. Move it to the right and click. Move it to the right and click until we have all 10 of our grid bubbles. and I'm gonna hit escape to exit the command.
Okay, make sure you're in.
You said 8, correct? Or you said
10.
10? Okay.
So go ahead and click that. Now let's go to. And make sure that your grid lines are drawing at a true 90-degree angle. Okay, if it's at like 87 or 89, okay, it's not going to work well later. Check that on. You will struggle massively. It hates it. All right, we're going to rename this one. Okay, now I'm going to copy this over. Copy. Multiple check, right? Now you may notice. I don't know why it's green. It's not green. Oh, are there? Do you have grid lines that are showing up? So you've got grid lines elsewhere. All instances. Much better than what I thought. I don't know what you guys going. Grid line. She had it. And some guys in the work truck, they don't find full service. Move that straight to your right. I thought about all the companies in the straight to your right.
All right. So you should have 1 through 10. Okay. What I want to do now is use my dimension tool. So align dimension in my modify tab. This guy right here. And I want to make a dimension string for all of these. So I'm going to click the left one, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Bring it all the way just underneath the grid bubble. And go ahead and click. And you should set some type of a dimension string right underneath your grid bubbles. Again, don't worry about what the dimensions are at this point. We will make them right. Yeah, let's do the dimension string one more time. So again, I'm going to use this align dimension tool. I'm going to click all 10 of these starting with 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to bring this up just under the dimension or the grid bubbles. And then I'm just going to click in any free space to set that dimension. And again, don't worry about what the dimensions actually are. We're going to grab that in a second. Does everyone online have a dimension string that dimensions all 10 of those grids together? Sweet. All right. So just because I want to make things super easy, and this is our template, right? Templates are meant to be a starting point, right? We don't want some crazy grid line spacing that's predetermined for a specific project in our template, right? We just want a generic spacing. We can move it around later, okay? If we want to use it, great. If not, that's cool too. We're going to build a couple templates to turn these on and off. So, but what I want to do, since it's the very beginning, okay, I want to make all of these 10 feet apart, okay? So you'll notice to move the space between 1 to 2. Click the number 2 grid line and change the dimension between 1 and 2 to 10 feet. You'll notice that grid line 2 is going to move over to the left, causing whatever this dimension is here to grow. So that went from 16 to 18. When we want to move number 3, again, we're clicking the line we want to move, and then we're saying how far away from the other grid line we want it. So we click number 3, we want it 10 feet, it activates the dimension, we want it 10 feet away from grid 2, and I'll click enter. And you want to use that same technique all the way down, okay? Because if I click here and try to set 3 10 feet from 4, and I change this 24 to 10, what's it gonna do?
Let's go with the other one.
It's just gonna move 3 backwards and forwards, right? So you gotta work
Already
one
finished.
direction. You already finished? Well, there you
Yeah.
go. Very good. Cool.
I guess I laid them all 10 out, right? And it was first start.
Well, then there you go. Money. Okay, so always be clicking the one downstream and then moving it back. Okay. And we're gonna set these all equal to 10. And then last but not least, I'll grab grid line 10 and it's now 10 feet away. All right, pretty cool. We've got grids going left to right. What else do we typically have on a set of plans? East-west grid lines, right? So these would technically be your east-west grid lines. They're going from your east to your west. What you would have is your north-south grid lines, right? And typically one direction is a lettering system, a numbering system, and typically your numbers across the top. This is not true in every scenario, okay? Every plan is different. Every project north is different. Where they decide what grid lines go where is up to them, okay? You could have A through Z across the top, and like I do right here, if I open up this Revit project, you'll notice that the grid lines are from left to right are technically K, L, L3, M, N, and these ones go the other way. So again, it all depends on the project and what you're getting into. For our sake, we're just gonna go left to right is 1 through 10. Top to bottom is gonna be A through H or whatever it's gonna be, okay? So let's go ahead and draw grid line A. So same thing, we're gonna use GR for grid, or again, you can come to your architecture tab and very right-hand side under the datum, there is this grid. I want to click somewhere left of my grid line 1. And draw to the right. Now, what you'll notice is it just continued where we're at, right? It doesn't know that we changed direction. Revit's smart, right? It knows that to pick up, but nothing told it to change from 10 to 11 or 11 to 12, right? It's just going to continue at the same sequencing that it was at. So what I want to do is I want to turn on both of these sides. I want to click this 11. You can come over to the properties and type in A here. You can zoom into the bubble and try to select it and type in A. Whatever. Again, this is going to be a capital A. Everything, make sure your cap locks is on. Okay? It's going to be a capital A. Now, earlier, we just hit the copy button. I clicked the displacement point and we just kind of drug down and we just kept clicking, right? Well, this time, I want to go ahead and set this up. So instead of us having to go back and change this every time, we want to just go ahead and start it from the beginning. So I want to drag this down vertically, and I want to make sure that this 90 is here, right? Right now it says 76. I want it to be straight vertical with that 90. If it's not that 90, okay, this will start walking on us, okay? What we're going to do, and I want you to actually drag this down. I want you to drag it down about 100 150 feet, roughly 150 feet. Okay, that'll keep us about 50 feet. And I don't know how long your grid lines are. Okay, we'll take care of the sizing of it in a little bit. But what this does is it's going to keep us straight for 150 feet. Since I have the multiple button on, and I've already given it a direction, I can now type in 10 on my keyboard and hit enter. Type in 10 on my keyboard and hit enter. 10, enter, 10, enter, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And now, by us placing those with a 10-foot spacing to begin with, that grid already started off a 10 by 10, right? So pretty cool. We don't have to always reset this, change it later. Okay, and we can drag that down if you need to. So if let's say that yours looks like this real quick, maybe yours looks like this. Go ahead and click the 1, and you should notice that there's like a lock on it. And if you grab this node, you should be able to drag it down, and it should drag all of them together. All those bubbles should be locked together.
Okay, I have a question from A. When you were in the middle, you created a line and you dragged it all the way straight down 150 feet.
Correct.
And from when I did that, it made B all the way down there at the bottom.
So, but you clicked, right?
I believed I did. I thought I did.
So what we want to do, and I'm going to do this again, okay? I'm deleting all of those, okay? So if you did this and you drag it, I told you to drag it 150 feet, right? If you did that and you click with your mouse, for sure, that's where it's going to go, right? It's got no other options.
Okay.
And I'm going to renumber this real quick, okay? What I want to do, I'm just going to copy this down 10 feet real quick and renumber this to B, so that way it'll restart and I don't have to. Like if I renumber this B, the next one should pick up at C, okay?
Gotcha.
But what I'm doing is I'm telling it, hey, I'm moving this a direction. I said 150 feet because that puts us at least 50 feet lower than our last grid line, right?
Correct.
If I only put it like 60 feet, every 10 feet, it would get down. And then like the last one, it would probably like go way to the right. You need to like extend past that direction. But what we're doing now is just typing 10 on our keyboard. And so that's going to say, hey, I want it to go this direction, 10 feet. And you hit enter. And then you just hit 10 and enter, 10 and enter, 10 and enter.
I got it. It went after A, B, C after that by itself.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions with that?
No.
Last but not least, let's go ahead and set a dimension string on the left-hand side that's going to control the and show you the dimension between all of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we should have 1 through 10 and A through J. If you want to select everything in here, okay, maybe it was like over here or something, you can select everything, just grab it and drag and kind of recenter it between your elevation markers. And then again, we want to go ahead and make sure that everything is spaced 10 feet. Okay. Later on, when we draw a building, we will go ahead and move these grid lines to align with certain walls. So these grid lines aren't going to be stationary. It's just a starting point for us. So maybe this grid line will want to be there. Maybe this one will, right? And so if I have a building, again, don't do this. I'm just moving things around, but you'll see in a second. But if I have a building, okay, now when I go to dimension my walls, how cool is that? Everything's already dimensioned for you. You already know where all your intersections are. Because, and maybe this wall was here. Let's align that grid line to the wall. Okay. So these grid lines are going to be there for you to use. That's the whole point. Okay. It's not supposed to be something that just this static number. I'm just setting them at 10 to start with. It gives us kind of a, 100 by 100, a 10,000 square foot area, right? To start our building.
You can add.
We can always add, we can always subtract, we can always do anything else. Correct. If I wanted to add, what would you need to do? Just a second, Jared. And then what do I need to do? I just need to rename that 11, right? And there we go. Okay. Super easy. The biggest thing is that the way that we did it, we drew one of them and then we copied them. And I like to do that because it keeps everything uniform. If you draw them like I showed you earlier, where you draw the grid line from top to bottom and then bottom to top, that is a nasty workflow because these don't control the same anymore. So if you do want to draw all your grid lines, you could do that, but you want to keep the direction the same, always drawing top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, okay, or left to right, okay? But then when I turn on and off, like if I select this grid line and I turn off all of those bubbles, now I only have left and top bubbles and they're all uniform. Okay, so let's leave it at a 10 by 10. So I'm just going to back up a few steps and we are going to work on a quick template to turn our grids on and off. Okay, so we're going to put one more template for our template.
How do you
All right,
make your grid lines longer?
Go ahead and grab it. It should have a open circled node with a lock, and grab that node and you can just drag that down. And if they're locked, they'll all drag together.
Okay.
Okay. So then you've got something. So are yours, are they in alignment because you copied them left to right? They're still they're parallel, right? Okay. So you're just saying though that this isn't together, right? So when you drag them, okay, that's a great, okay, real quick, check this out. So I have my first 7 are connected. If I click number 7, you can see this, the lock that comes up, right? That's saying, hey, these are locked and they're just locked by default, okay? And it's saying, hey, all of these that it aligns to, we're going to move those together, okay? If you take number 8 and you drag it up, it will want to snap there. If you let it go, it will auto lock. So I can bring 8, 9, and 10 together. And now if I grab any of them, they will all move back together. If I want one of them to unmove with the rest, I can unlock it and drag it farther down. Yes.
Were we supposed to make dimensions from?
We want everything. Yes.
Okay.
We want 1 through 10 to all be 10-foot spaced and A through J to all be 10-foot spaced. And then if for some reason your things like over here, or maybe it's just a little bit like to the left-hand side, select everything or all your grid lines and actually, if you grab everything, check, this is kind of cool. If you grab everything, we could hit this filter button, unselect the views and elevations. And now it only has the grid lines and the dimensions selected, and I can just move that as a unit. Just kind of center it up between our elevation symbols. Any other questions? We're going to build a quick template and then And does everybody have, okay, perfect. So does everyone have a floor plan template already? You should. And it should be called floor plan. You click on the left-hand side of this view. Do you see something that says floor plan? Beautiful. So what I want to do is I want to take this floor plan, open up this template. Okay, so does everyone online have a template on there? You should, from where we
Can you
left
show me that
off.
one more time? Can you show
Yeah.
me one more time?
Yes, so let's go to the level 1. Like, just make sure you're on your level 1 view. And on the left-hand side, it should say view template floor plan in your properties.
View template floor plan, yeah.
Okay, has everyone got that?
Yes, sir.
Sweet. So what I'm gonna do, since we already built one template, we're gonna just take that template and we're gonna utilize it. Okay, I don't want to have to recreate the wheel, right? This template already has my color filter in it for my sections, right? It's already coloring my sections. I don't want to build a new filter to do that, but I do want to build a template that I'm not always seeing those grid lines. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's click this floor plan, and it's going to bring up this template window. It's going to say assign view template. And we're going to build 2 new view templates. But this time, we're not going to build a brand new one. We're going to actually duplicate the floor plan that we already have. So I want to click this duplicate button, and it's just going to call it into your own name. So I'm going to call this floor plan. And then typically if I have something after like floor plan or section, I'll put a hyphen in there. And then this is going to be grids half tone. And if I hit enter, then I should be left with a new one called grids half tone. And before we get out of here, I want to come over to this annotation category and click this edit button. So second one down, override annotations, and click this edit button. So real quick, so okay, we built the new one. You should be on one, huh? Okay, so the second edit button down, you should say VG override model, and then right below that VG override annotation. We're gonna click this second edit button, and it'll bring up another lovely window. And I want to hit G on my keyboard, and it'll bring us down to generic models, and 2 below that will be grids. Okay. And the very far side of grids, we've got this button right here that says halftone. That very top that says halftone. Okay, so we're gonna actually make that grid halftone. So I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. And now just because I want to see if this works, I'm moving this out of the way just so you guys can see. So apply allows us to apply the properties that we just built on the template and leave this window open. So maybe I want to go back in there. Maybe I want to check and see if that worked. I'm going to hit apply. And you can see those grids went to halftone. Okay. Going to go ahead and click OK. And you can now see when I zoom in, the dimensions are darker and black, and everything else is, and you can really see it, right? When you turn on the thick line, thin line, you really can see the bold on the dimensions, but not necessarily on the grid lines, right? They're half-toned. So that's one way to do it. That's grids half-toned. Let's go ahead and click one more time into here. Okay. And I'm going to duplicate this template once again. And this time I'm going to call it floor plan grids off and hit enter. And last but not least, I can come over to this edit annotations. Same thing we did before, except this time instead of turning the grids to halftone, I'm gonna actually uncheck the halftone and I'm gonna uncheck the grid lines. And when I uncheck the grid lines and click apply, actually we have to get to this window, but when I click apply, you'll see that this is back to an entirely blank working view. That's the point of the template. Grids off. If there's no grid showing to dimension to, how can dimensions be there? There you go. Okay. So if there are dimensions, they're gonna disappear with that element, right? If no walls are showing, but you had all your walls dimensioned, they're gonna go away. Now maybe you have a window that's dimensioned. Depending on how it is, windows and walls are kind of weird. I think you could turn the visibility of the wall off and still leave the window
So
there.
whatever you don't have dimension, you'll notice once you turn the grid lines off, or you turn those grid lines off, because everything will pop up. You'll see openings or stuff like that.
Correct. And or if you have it, and it still may be there if it's dimension, because we didn't tell it to turn dimensions off. It was just turning dimensions off if the dimension was connected or attributed to a grid line, right? So if it was two wall dimensions and we turn grids off, that dimension would stay there. Does that make
Gotcha.
sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, but if the element that that the dimension is connecting to is off, then it can't see it. So therefore the dimension won't be there.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay. Real quick, let's go ahead and go to your north section. Actually,
What do you mean north section?
it's not going to show it. Never mind. Never mind. This is where I want to stop today. I was going to get him to show up in here, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and leave it on your grid's halftone. And I'm actually going to put another assignment on tonight's module. And I want to take a snippet of our grid's halftone in this template. Submit it here. So 2.5 classwork. It's 2.12, right? I'm gonna. Has anyone submitted anything already? Okay, so I'm gonna change the name of the first one to 2.12. Model.
I actually submitted already.
I'm just gonna leave that as 2.12 classwork. Perfect. And then I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
did
build a
too.
new one and call it 2.12 template classwork. All right, and then I'll do that. I'll publish that, and then I'll make it worth. And I'll make it worth 2 points. So you can have 4 points of assignments this week. Sweet. All right, so there will be 2 things to turn in this week. One, the template screenshot, and then the other one, the screenshot of the example that we did in class, making sure that the dimensions are to the outsides of your walls, right? And if you need that that
It won't
picture
let me
again,
submit anything for that.
huh?
It won't let me submit anything under 2.12 template classwork.
Hold up. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hold up. I didn't duplicate it. I just built a brand new one. So hold up just a second. Submission, online file upload. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
For what? Okay. So yes, we just save. We just save our template. Okay. The template is save the template, and we do not want to draw any walls in here Okay, all we want in there is those grid lines and our dimensions. Okay, we don't want to draw like a project in here because when next time if we open up a new project from the template, it's then going to have a wall in there, and we don't want that. We just want to have the basic wireframe work. Okay. Any questions? So yeah, one screenshot of just like this of the half toned, and you can give me the whole thing. I don't care. Something like that. That's great. And then one screenshot of the other one showing the small house that we built. Yes. And again, if they're not turned in today, not a big deal. Watch the video, figure out what you missed. Okay. I'll post the video first thing tomorrow. Questions, comments, concerns? Next week, I will not see you. Okay, but please turn in your BIM technology focus. It should be on Revit families and the family editor. And then the following week when I see you is, I think, my favorite class, and get ready to do some lots of little line work. It is a long class, but it's super, super, super rewarding. Like you will get so much out of the next class. But come in with some patience. Okay. There's a lot of lines, a lot of locks, a lot of dimensions, but once we get it set, it really is the class that opens up most people's eyes and really shows you how a Revit family can behave. And that's what separates AutoCAD from Revit, is these families and all the information that we can put inside of them.
Yeah, if you see me, you can give me
We just save it as a normal pile, right? Just save us like a save as it is, or
For the template,
yeah.
no, just save, just a straight save.
Okay, thank you.
Yep,
Is that it?
that's it.
All right, perfect. I'm gonna work on the other one.
Awesome.
All right, thank you. Have a
Thank
good one, guys.
you.
Thank you. Have a good night.